on Friday as we celebrated the life of Glenn Creek. And I want to add that I was so grateful that our church family was so well represented at that memorial service. It was a blessing, and the family was truly blessed. And I thank you for that. Well, as we celebrated his life, I recalled that he stayed in touch with family and friends over many miles and many years. Some of his family and friends he would call every single day, not for a long discussion, just to let know that he was thinking of them and caring for them and loving them. And here is the lesson that he took and shared with all of us. Take the call, or make the call. Be patient. Listen to the story, even if you've heard it before. That's not very different from what the Apostle Paul was saying to his friends in Thessalonica. Encourage the disheartened, help the weak, be patient with everyone. Paul called on his friends to help one another, especially those who were struggling. When we notice those who are fearful or anxious or discouraged, and we come alongside them, whether to listen, to offer a kind word, or sit quietly together, God can use us as He used Glenn to give strength and courage to hold on to their hopes in Jesus. Thus did Glenn Creek live. Let's remember that about him and know that we can do the same. Do you know that Taylor Caldwell, many years ago, wrote a book that was entitled The Listener? The story of a wealthy attorney and a strange building that he had constructed. As the structure went up, people speculated as to what it would be. A private library, a museum, a music school. No windows, and in gold lettering over the front door were the words, "The man who listens." Who was that man? Some speculated that he was a psychologist or a pastor or a social worker. People who had problems would enter this building, sit down, and drop their particular problem written on a piece of paper into a wooden slot. They would press a button, and soon a chime would ring, and they would enter a smaller room. They would sit and talk with the man, and then they would get up and they would leave. It was an amazing thing. People found someone who would listen to them. We need to rediscover the importance of listening. We need to listen to people that we may give them friendship and understanding. We need to listen to others that we may rest from the steady drumbeat of our own concerns. How many people do you think Jesus listened to during his ministry? It was probably in the thousands. People had tensions and worries and problems as we do today, and Jesus knew well the art of listening. He listened as one who would listen to one needing forgiveness or healing or love. So many of us are distracted, we're anxious, we're troubled about our daily lives. We have a tendency to place stress on the wrong ideals as goals. Some of the things that we think are great in this life, Jesus would question. And so he was speaking to you and to me when he said, you are anxious and you are troubled about many things. One thing is needful. Please listen to me. Priceless words of life. One thing that seems to stand out right away in the New Testament is this fact. Very few people really ever listened to Jesus during his earthly life. He spoke, but Judas didn't really understand or listen. Handful of coins betrayed his Lord. He spoke, but Pilate really didn't listen. He buckled under the pressures which came from the enemies of Jesus and gave the sentence that crucified him. He spoke, but few of his friends really listened. We are beleaguered with so many threats. The threat of destruction, the threat of war, the threat of change. We look to God for help and guidance. To really find God, we need to recognize and respond to that which we always knew, although we knew it not. It means taking time to really listen when God speaks. It means that after we have listened, we must say yes to this voice that we have often heard before. Perhaps we have not really found time to listen to this voice which speaks to our hearts. Not our voice. It comes from heights and depths that we can barely fathom. They are the words of the one who is as far as he is near, in whom alone our lives have meaning and wholeness, and for whose sake even the least of us is of infinite worth. Still today, we don't take time to listen. We are too busy to really listen. You know, excited little boy was telling his father a story, and his father interrupted him, and he said, "Slow down, you're talking too fast." To which the little boy said, "Oh no, Daddy, I don't talk too fast. You listen too slow." We may smile, but I think this is just how God feels at times. God is as eager to speak as we can even imagine, but we have a tendency to listen too slowly. So, we have ears to hear, but so often we don't want to hear. Just as we have learned to tune out so much of the verbiage in our world today, we so often unconsciously tune out when we hear the words of Jesus. Too often there is something within us that says, "Be careful." You may hear something that will upset your cherished prejudices, or something that will call for an uncomfortable decision, something that may trouble your conscience or change your settled way of life. And so we close our ears and we keep the words of Christ at a safe distance from our souls. But if we believe that Christ still has the power for our troubled world, that his church can still be a force for reconciliation and power and spiritual strength as it has now for 2,000 years, then we have to set about tearing down those barriers that keep us from truly hearing what he has to say. We have ears. We must listen. I think Charles Wesley had it in mind when he wrote these lines. He speaks, and listening to his voice, new life the dead receive. The mournful, broken hearts rejoice. The humble, poor believe. Those who have ears to hear, let us hear. May you be blessed by this simple witness in his name. Amen.